It's not what you say, but how you say it, right? If you say something that has good intentions, but it comes out wrong, the context, maybe even the tone of your voice, it will literally sound worse than you might have intended it for it to sound, right? Like if someone is obese, right? Subjectively, but obese nonetheless, right? You tell them, hey, you need to lose weight. Or if they ask you, do I look fat? You'd be like, yeah. You know, they might be like, oh, did y'all hear that noise too? Someone. Anyway, back to regular scheduled programming. Like I was saying, right? You know, if you say that, you know, they might feel hurt, right? But you could have said it worse, right? You'd be like, you look a little big, you know, but it's not like in a rude way, right? Someone say, man, do I look fat? You're like, I mean, you're kind of big, like it's too tight, you know what I'm saying? How about you? You got to cut down, right? You want to fit into it, you got to lose some weight, slim down in it, right? Lose the excess body fat, right? When you say it like that, it'll come off less, offensive. Now, they might still get a little butthurt, but it won't throw or tarnish the said friendship out the window, right? Now, if you say it like, oh yeah, you're fat, okay, then yeah, that sounds a little bit too mean, too harsh. But for some people, they need to hear that. They need to hear that so they can have that drive and that initial pain of just hearing that to really push themselves, right? Because sometimes they'll get comfortable, right? So sometimes you got to be that friend that just is blunt, all right? You got to let them know. Because if you don't, then they're just going to stay the way they are and not feel they need to change for the better, right? But like I said, you have to be very decisive in how you say it, right? Usually, if this happens with females, sometimes females will throw an entire friendship away over small things like that, right? Because they're too emotional, right? Most females react off of emotion, and when the emotions or they're overstimulated, they just go berserk, right, on their friend. Or just on people in general, right? That's for guys. I mean, it's a little different. But yes, like for example, actually, let's say this, right? Let's say you come from a family where you're a teenager, you graduate high school, right? Let's say you're either the first to graduate high school or you're about to go to college and you could be the first to graduate college and not drop out, right? Whichever situation works best, right? But let's use the situation, you graduate, right? Like if you're a guardian parent, right? Instead of them saying, hey, go to college, stay consistent, stay focused, focus on graduating and get a good job. That way, you don't end up like the rest of us or most of the family who, didn't go to college or didn't graduate high school or went to college and dropped out and didn't do anything else in life, right? Give them that encouragement where in the back of the mind they know, okay, let me not mess around. Let me, stay focused. Let me not party all the time. Let me not do this, that, and the other and do all these extra vices that can, really have a negative hit on me, right? Like my family, right? But some parents gotta say, oh yeah, if you don't go to college, you're gonna be a bum. If you don't go to college, you're gonna end up like them, this, that, and the other. You don't go to college, you're gonna be homeless, and this, that, and the other. And it's like, that makes the person discouraged. That makes the kid discouraged, the teenager discouraged. And if they do go to college, they're not gonna be happy. They're gonna only go to college because you want them to. You kind of force them to, right? They're not really gonna be happy. They're not gonna probably try to make new friends on the college campus. If they live on campus or commute, they're not gonna want to interact. They're not gonna feel like they fit in. They're not gonna feel like they could fit in clubs or anything like that because of that narrative in the back of their mind, right? You know what I'm saying? Like, they don't understand the subconscious mind. A lot goes on in it, right? Good and bad, or sometimes just strictly bad, right? Depending on the people you associate yourself with, right? But let's put it in another perspective. This is probably a real common one too. Parents who swear it's the generation where every single kid who goes to college in their family has to go to the exact same college. Why? It's a tradition. What tradition is that? The traditions I'm used to is like, okay, you know how certain families in other countries, right, they have certain traditions and the style of clothing they wear, the hair they make, or the products they make, right? That's their tradition. That's what they're known for. You want your tradition to be known for everybody in the family going to the exact same college for generations, for what, right? And even if you have the excess money to, if your kid doesn't get a full scholarship towards it, right? Or you only want them to apply to that one school, and as long as they can get accepted with the GPA overall, in whatever scholarship they get, if they get any, right? which ideally, let's say they do, but not full tuition, right? You would come out of pocket willingly to fund at that school because you just want them to go to the same school that everyone else in your family went to, including yourself as the parent. And if they don't, they want to go out of state, right? If they have a full scholarship out of state, or if they have to take out student loans, you're not gonna help pay for those student loans outside of the state, because the out-of-state fees, out-of-state tuition, it's most likely gonna double. So you might not have that excess money. But even let's say you do, you're most likely not gonna want to help them because you're gonna be very stubborn because they don't want to go to the same college that y'all all went to, right? And graduated from, or even if you didn't graduate, just to say you went, right? You're gonna get mad at them. You're not gonna want to talk to them. You're gonna disown them, whether they have a full-ride scholarship outside of state, out of state or not. You're gonna disown them. You're gonna want to disown them, right? Which is very stupid and petty, but that's how some people are. That's how some families are, which is stupid and crazy. But I mean, I don't know what's the whole dynamic, right? You know, it's a field thing, depending on their major, depending on, you know, and sometimes, speaking of major, man, sometimes it's the major, like, you know, they'll be like, oh yeah, you're going to this college, so pick a major that associates with this college because we all went there, so go there, right? Or it's a family tradition that we're all doctors, so you need to be a doctor, right? Or we're all lawyers, so you need to be a lawyer, right? Or let's say they don't want to be a lawyer, they don't want to be a doctor, right? Let's say they want to go into something else, like dentistry, right? You might disown them because they want to go into dentistry, because they don't want to be a lawyer like you, or they don't want to be a doctor like you. They go into a different profession that's also good, that's also well respected, and you still try to disown them, right? Like, it just doesn't make sense, right? Like, instead of saying that, you should be like, hey, son, daughter, niece, nephew, whoever the guardian is, be like, hey, I would prefer you to stay home, right? You know, stay close to home. You know, it can get very lonely, right? If you leave out of state, or if you go far, if you stay in state, but you go like further in state, like just further from, you know, your hometown, right? You know, you're living on campus, right? You know, you're probably gonna miss us, our families, you know, we're gonna miss you. I think it's best, you know, you can commute, so I say it's best to commute, or at least come every weekend, you know, see the family, right? You know, you can never have too much family time, right? You know, we just want to make sure everything's good, make sure you're in good spirits, you know, everything's going well in school, right? If you say it like that, they might be more willing to go to the college that you desperately want them to go to, right? Off of persuasion and influence, right? And even if they don't want to, you should still respect their decision because they're taking a risk. They're taking a risk on themselves, right? A lot of parents can't understand that because they couldn't take a risk for themselves. So if their child trying to take a risk for themselves or on themselves, most of the parents are not gonna understand that. And they're gonna disown them. They're gonna feel some type of way. They're gonna get butthurt in their little feelings and get mad. It's stupid. It's crazy. It's for real crazy, right? When instead, you should encourage your child, okay, whether you go in state or out of state, where the best tuition is, where you can get the most financial aid, or you don't have to come out of pocket much, just make sure you call us, you know, hit us up every chance you can get. Let us know how everything's going. Come back for either the weekend, or if you're out of state, come back for the holidays. You know, this, that, and the other. Wish them luck, right? They're grown now. This is their path, their journey to be on their own and to figure things out. And when you try to keep them all close all the time and not have them figure certain things out on their own a little bit, or at least guide them to figure things out on their own, then they're never going to be able to reach their full potential. And that's that whole dynamic, and that's how a lot of, you know, family fallouts or even friendship fallouts happen, right? So, but that's the end of this video. Comment, like, and subscribe. Comment any future video you may want to see, and share this. Save, rewatch if you need to, and share this with someone who you know needs to see this, especially someone who's in a similar situation, whether it be with family or friends, or just very blunt. If they're very blunt, you should definitely send them this video. They're probably going to be like, yeah, I'm just blunt with it. So let them know, right? And like I said, save this video, because I'm telling you, as humans, we have to interact, and certain things can be taken out of context, or people getting their feelings too much, or it just flies over their head and it means something. They think it means something compared to what we actually meant it as, right? So hopefully you took something from this video. Like I said, comment, like, subscribe, save, and share. Until then, I'm gonna see y'all on the next one.